Hi everyone, it's Lisa with InkandInspirations.com. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, we are going to be making a birthday card with this cute Share a Milkshake bundle. And I've already got a lot of the pieces prepared to save some time, but I wanted to give you some tips and ideas just when creating cards that may be helpful for you. So I already have my two layers that go on the front of the card adhered together. I decided to use crumb cake and then this piece of designer paper from the Country Floral Lane Designer Series paper collection in the Stampin' mini catalog. So I already have that together and glued with liquid glue, and it's going to go on the front of this card base, which is thick basic white, cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I've already finished out the inside for what I need for right now with a piece of basic white and a strip of that designer paper that matches the front. It just kind of ties it in and it's very easy to do. So look for your strips that you have left over once you do your cutting for your layers. But what I wanted to discuss today is attaching ribbon for number one. And when you do that on a card like this and you want to tie it around the layer, the top layer, sometimes it's just easier to go ahead, and in this case, very simple to do it on the two layers here that are going to go over the top, and then it can all be glued down on that card front. So I have two pieces of ribbon. This is from, I believe it's Real Red and Burlap combo. I think it's really pretty, and I chose the ribbon, and that's how I decided to use the crumb cake here because I thought it went really well. And so this ribbon, both of these pieces come in a combo pack, and so I cut them both. They're probably about 24 inches long, and I usually cut my ribbon with a little bit of an extra length, and I'll go into that a little more in a minute. But what I'm going to do here is just tie it around the front of the card lengthwise. I should say the layers lengthwise. And I'm just going to tie a knot with both of them. So basically, two pieces of ribbon aren't that difficult to tie together at the same time. If you get more than that, it gets a little tricky, but this is working out just fine, and especially since the ribbon is, the two pieces are not the same width, and they just tie very easily, and they lay flat very nicely like that. So that's one way of doing a ribbon treatment with two ribbons. Now you can see these tails are extra long. I'm not going to trim those yet because sometimes when you're working with a card, the fraying will start on the ribbons, and I don't want it to be handled too much, so I'll wait until I'm almost finished with the card before I trim those off to the final length. Now let's talk about the main image. I decided I wanted to use a scalloped contours die, and it is from the collection in the annual catalog, and I have already stamped on it the little straw stamp from this Share a Milkshake. Now I wanted just an easy background, something to take away the white, or so the white won't overwhelm the image and just be a little bit of a filler. So what I want to talk to you about is just, this is crumb cake ink stamped full strength, okay? This is the crumb cake stamped off, and when I'm talking about stamped off, I mean when I ink up my stamp and then take it, and I'm going to stamp right here. Stamp once, and that's full strength, okay? And then stamp again, and you get a lighter version of the same color. I can even stamp a third time and get even a lighter version. So your ink can really serve you with different tones or shades of the same color. So I'm going to use this one for the background for the main image. And I've already cut the die, This is from the Share a Milkshake dies. It's not one that coordinates with a stamp, but look at it. It already has these little etched lines in there and makes it look just like a waffle cone. So when assembling these cones, I have found it much easier to use glue dots than liquid glue or the tape runner glues like the Stampin' Seal or the Stampin' Seal Plus. You know, there's no drying time wait, and there's no awkward manipulation of the Stampin' Seal Plus carrier like this, okay? So here we go. We've got our little cone. It's going to rest on the top of that just like that. But first I want to build my ice cream inside. So I have 2 pre-cut and pre-stamped pieces here of the ice cream. And so I used crumb cake, stamping off and then stamping again. And then this is sweet sorbet. I stamped off and then stamped it so it wouldn't be quite so bright. And I'll show you the full strength ink in just a minute. So what I'm going to do here is I decided I want the sorbet scoop to be in front. And so I am going to I'm going to try 1 glue dot. I experimented with this earlier and tried to put one on each side, but then it was kind of sticking out on each side of the cone. So there, have that, and that looks okay. All right, and then I'm going to take, I see my little glue dot peeking out. I'm just going to kind of squish it in there with my fingernail. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put it behind that like it's a stacked cone. So let me try the one in the middle, and let me put it as close to the bottom as I can. Press on it. And then let's put it behind here. I'm going to press, and that seems to work really well. Okay, so also in the die set are the cherry, which that is full strength sweet sorbet there. Do you see how much darker and more vibrant that is? I decided to go that way with the cherry. And then we have our chocolate topping that's going to go right here. Okay, right here where it's like the chocolate's dripping down a bit. Let me go ahead and use another glue dot and get that on. And I'm gonna put one in the center. Okay, and you kind of curve that cardstock a little bit to go with the ice cream. And then we can take our cherry and put a glue dot behind it, and then put that on top of the little chocolate topping. And there you go. There's our ice cream cone, okay? So that is going to go over top just like this. And I think for this one, I am going to go ahead and use some liquid glue and glue this cone onto the card. Now you can see I've kind of rounded and shaped the cardstock a bit so it looks dimensional. It can be flat if you'd like. Probably easier to mail that way. So I can push it down. See, and it's just as cute. All right. Okay, so there's the ice cream cone. I have a little bit of glue on my hands, so let me try to get that off. And now, let's see, I want to angle it just a bit. I'm going to do some stamping with the word celebrate on a 1/2 inch strip of basic white. So let me get my ink pad. This is one of our 22-24 in colors. It's a really pretty, it's a darkish, dark pink red. You know, it's very close. You can use the real red ribbon with it, and you can't really tell the difference, but when you stamp real red next to it, you definitely see the pink undertones here in this sweet sorbet. Okay, so now I had cut this a little longer than I needed, And I'm going to take my paper snips and just snip and snip, super easy, okay? And then that's going to go right there over top of our cone. So I'm going to get another glue dot over here and press it on the back. And then press it over top like that. So let's see about assembling our card now. Move this out of the way. And we have our layer here. This is going to go here. Isn't that cute with that stripe behind it, that sweet sorbet stripe? But here again, I'm going to bring in some real red in our rhinestones, our red basic rhinestones. And I'm going to get my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm going to go ahead and attach these before I build up the card, so I don't forget. That's a fun little touch, isn't it? Okay, so now we can glue this piece over those 2 layers with the ribbon. Okay, so let's get that right there. All right, now this can go over our top on our card front. Again, I'm going to use some liquid glue. And I'm going to try to get some on this ribbon so it gets a good stick. Oh my goodness, my glue wasn't dry. See there? Should have tried the Stampin' Seal, huh? Okay, so I have a little bit of a white border all the way around. Then this can go here, like that. Okay, there's our card. Now let's trim this ribbon a bit, shall we? See if I can find my scissors that I used to cut my ribbon. See there? These haven't touched paper, and so they are just cut like butter. And so will your paper snips if you dedicate one pair to cutting fibers and ribbon. I mean, look at that. Ugh. Okay. There's our card for today with the Share a Milkshake stamp set. Some cute projects you can make with this. So just be sure to check it out in the online store. If I can help you with anything, let you know. I'm Lisa Brown with Ink and Inspirations. Be sure and like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.